Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to All the Mods Expert Remastered. So we're picking back up. It's not terribly long after last episode. I did do some stuff. I moved our Britannia stuff over to this area, a little bit closer to the flowers, and I started planning out this building somewhat, and I've got a lot of detail work. By the way, this stuff is not going to be just pure white, pure blue. I'm going to do some detail stuff, kind of like what I have over there, but it's just, I'm getting there. I did go ahead and flatten this out and add the stairs, where the stairs are going to lead up to the astral sorcery area. And in addition, I brought the water around, all the way around on both sides, and it comes out, there's a little funnel here that leads into the courtyard. What is going to be the courtyard. And right now I have gravel here because I haven't put the blocks down for keeping the water flow in check. And I did run the builder through this, so this is opened up, and I've got to shape up this section here and bring it all across so it looks more natural, because we're going to have like rocks, a rockway coming through like part of the mountain, and it's going to be cut out with the entrance to this. And I know it's raining. I'm not going to toggle this off because it doesn't really rain in our base anymore, which is nice. And then I put darkstone here, and then I've got to go through and do detail work and stuff there. But then I started working in this room a bit and plotting this out. This is going to be kind of like a day room. I am going to go through, I think, and change these armor stands to framed bibliocraft stands, and maybe do like white or something. Do something with framing instead of them just being spruce. I'm going to do something with those, change them up. I also crafted a Faraday armor set from Immersive Engineering, so just for fun, just for looks. There's going to be a bunch of different armors in this area. It's kind of like a day room entryway. I'm going to have a little bit of greenery there in the center and whatnot. So, and this is all sooty marble and marble floor. So then over here you can see where the waters come around through there. Also, the upper section, I shaped it up a little bit and brought the glass through and some different things like that. And then I started working on laying out where I want the stairs to be to access the upper levels of this tower. So I've got stairs that are going to come out here, and you can kind of overlook and see the courtyard, or what's going to be the courtyard down below. And then if you follow these stairs up, it'll take you, to this next floor, and then across through here, there's steps, and this will lead up into this floor. This floor is actually not going to have a whole lot in the way of windows. There will be windows on the front side, but not on this back side, I don't think. I don't know. I'm still debating. I might put some windows there. We'll see. So, and then over here, I've got two doors that come out, and the stairs go up, and out here is going to be kind of like an outdoor garden at the top of this. And I'm actually considering making it a little bit more raised off the ground, so maybe a block or two above this glass, and bring the stairs up just a little bit more. So, it'll be a little bit raised over this glass is probably what I'm going to end up doing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have stairs on each side, and these are going to come around and go up and connect to different floors in this. Like, there'll be a floor that connects to the garden area that's going to be underneath the stairs, is where the door is going to be at. And then this is going to come up, and there'll be like another floor entrance like right here, and then it'll come up and around, and maybe another one up here, and then they'll meet in the middle, and then there'll be the top level. Or the upper section of the tower, and then it may come up, it may come in a little bit and have kind of like a little dome top and access up to that. Anyways, I've just been kind of plotting that out and getting it all planned. So also, this thing is kind of a nuisance, this mega torch, because it goes out often, like every couple hours, and I have to relight it. I kind of hate that like limited time mega torch thing. It drives me insane. But anyways, today, the original plan was we're going to do roots, we're going to get into sprites, and then we're going to get into the industrial apiaries. However, this pack is so sneaky. This pack is probably the most sneaky I've ever played. I was looking at kind of figuring out exactly what I wanted to make and what I would need to make it, and I was about to start prepping some things for these upgrades so we could kind of segue into those pretty smoothly. And it's a lot of bronze. I went ahead and prepped like I don't know, over a stack of bronze. It's like 80, about a stack and a half of bronze. Grass blocks, not a problem. Climate control module is, you know, all these alveary pieces, but this stuff is all craftable. More bronze, lots of bronze. You look at this, it's just a bunch of stuff. And then you look at the upgrade frame. TerraSteel nuggets for the upgrade frame. So I totally did not notice that. And upgrade frames is, we're going to be using them for any upgrade that we want to use. And the industrial apiaries, you know, of course we have to plug in power, and that's fine. But I can't really set them up here without upgrades, because this place, the majority of it counts as like a cold biome. So until I can craft upgrades, there's really no reason to get into industrial apiaries. To make TerraSteel, it's not terrible. You know, we're going to need the terrestrial agglomeration plate. And this requires the runes, pretty standard, and we're about to, you know, this episode probably, we're going to get the runic altar. These are all pretty straightforward. I don't notice too much difference. I mean, there's like cobalt nuggets thrown in there, or there's rubies thrown in there. But for the most part, these are pretty standard and all craftable. There's some ardite, so that's not a problem. But we do need blank runes from blood magic, so we will have to start blood magic. I mean, it's a tier 1 to craft blank runes, but still. And then we have to get resonating gems from Starlight Infusion from Astral Sorcery, which isn't too much more into Astral Sorcery for that. So, I mean, we're not terribly far from TerraSteel, but we're not going to be getting industrial apiaries today. So, I decided to revisit my original plan and change it up a little bit. We are still going to get into roots, and then we're going to get into the runic altar, and then, I'm kind of debating about a couple different routes we can go. Instead of going straight for the industrial apiaries, since it's going to take a minute to get those, I thought about maybe getting into a little bit more mechanism first, as well as maybe getting the alloy smelter. Because we're not terribly far from the alloy smelter. We do need the empowerer, and then we need the ability to get mana glass, which we've got, and then we also need, like if you take a look at the alloy smelter, because I would like to be able to start making item conduits. Osmiridium we can make, because you get iridium and osmium from rock hounding. You know, we've been able to make osmiridium for a while. All the rest of this is pretty straightforward. Machine chassis, refined obsidian, not a problem, because you can make that in the arc furnace. And we already have metallurgic infuser. But basic capacitors, this is where it takes mana glass, empowered Restonia, and then it takes silver clumps, which will require a purification chamber, as well as oxygen from mechanism. So, I mean, it's not terrible to get that. Alloy smelter, of course, is going to open up item conduits, as well as a few other things, which would be nice to get into. So we might, of course, next episode is going to be a server tour. So after that, we'll maybe take a little bit of a detour from magic briefly, do a little bit of tech, and then come back to magic. Maybe. I haven't really decided for sure yet, but this pack is a bit sneaky. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and start off with roots. And last episode we got our attuned standing stones. So those are there. We can summon sprites now. But before I do that, I want to get a font, a spirit font from roots. And these require, I believe you can use regular, yeah, you can use regular vines, leaves, otherworld leaf. Well, we are going to have to summon a sprite first. And then runestone bricks. So let's go ahead and get the stuff that we need. I need this. Let's go ahead and get the stuff that we're going to need to summon our first sprites. And these things are not terribly expensive. Glowstone, redstone, ender pearl. It doesn't require any kind of incense. So we'll probably summon, you know, the first... Let me see something. Have I never put looting on this? I want to put looting on this, actually. Probably would have helped with that Wool of Bat last episode, right? It probably would have helped quite a bit, but I totally forgot that I didn't have looting on there. Okay, so glowstone. We'll grab a stack of that. We're not going to use the whole stack, but we'll grab a stack. Some ender pearls. And let's go summon some sprites. So here we go. Glowstone, ender pearl, redstone. Oh, okay. My bad. It requires 4 different flowers as incense. Okay. My bad. I forgot those. Those are kind of sneaky. And let me get my flint and steel. Let's see, I'll use blue orchids. I mean, flowers aren't an issue because I can always pop over to the bee area and just grab up a bunch of flowers. So, I mean, they're readily available. So that's not a problem. Alright, so blue orchid, dandelion, poppy, oxeye daisy, and it's actually kind of dumb of me to not think about it because the greater sprites, these are the ones that require, I think it's 12, is it for them? No, those are 8. It's the boss, isn't it? The right here, Guardian of Sprites. This one is the one I think that requires 12 unique overworld flowers. So for that, we're going to need 12 incense braziers. But 8 is pretty good for general purpose. Okay, so I've got the incenses in there. We'll go ahead and light those. And let's go ahead and summon our very first sprite. And these guys are pretty cool. They make really cool sounds. And, where'd you go? There you are. Okay. They're kind of hard to hit, as you can tell. Okay, so we got 4 Otherworld leaves. And I'm going to go ahead and just summon, since this is running, let's go ahead and summon another one. Since the incenses are burning. And then we'll get into the spirit font. Because we're going to need a bunch of these Otherworld leaves, so might as well. And tell you what. There you go. Oh, he's outside. Whoops. There we go. There we go. And, okay, there's the other one. Okay, they can pass through glass. That's interesting. And actually kind of cool because I'm... Gosh. It's kind of hard to chase them down, though, whenever you're trying to, like, kill them. Oh, my God. Would you stop it? There we go. If you can get a hit in on them, they're fine. Okay, so we got 14 Otherworld leaves, and those are still burning, but that's fine. What all uses? Otherworld block, spirit font, spirit conduit. Oh, wow. You use that to make your glimmering living wood. And lime-colored honey drops. It has to be... Wow, okay. Oh, that's interesting. You make blank runes in the runic altar. 4 dark stone, pulsating propolis. That means we're still a little ways from blank runes because we have to get farther into bees. Otherworld leaves, ember crystals, and blank slates. I swear this pack is like, it does things like that. Let me see, is that the only way to make, yeah, that is the only way to make blank runes in this pack. It's not standard craft. Okay. I should have known. I should just assume that everything has changed in this pack and approach it in such a manner. Okay, so we just need a couple vines, and we'll get that. We only really need one of these spirit fonts. Runestone bricks. Those are, okay, those are standard. And we'll get our spirit font. Bum, bum. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take this thing, and we're going to set it up like... Actually, like right over here, I think. Right on this little corner will be good. And you'll notice it kind of has like some particle effects. And what it's doing is drawing nature from around it. And it needs water and it needs plants around it. So I'm going to take some of these plants that we grabbed and just kind of set these up. You don't really need a ton of these things, especially early on. And I am planning on really adding a lot of like flowers and stuff around in this base. Originally I was planning on the bees doing it for me, but I'm probably going to end up just doing it before we get bees, since it's taking a while to get into those. But I don't really like that there. We'll set this more like over there. Okay. And I may actually come back through. I'll probably change this up a little bit. Come back through with some bone meal and bone meal it and add some grass with the leaves and stuff like that in that little corner. But anyways, that should be enough natural energy. These things, if you look at the runic tablet, I think it actually mentions it. It says a good starting pond will likely not need to exceed about 10 blocks of water. So, and I mean, that should be good. And then eventually we'll have flowers on this side. I don't know I can't remember the range on this thing that it's gonna check, but anyways, it checks a little ways around it. So, that'll be good. And then what we can do is, let's go ahead and summon another... Or set this up for another summoning. And we'll activate that. And what the spirit font's going to do, it's actually going to draw the sprite towards it and keep it there. Like normally the sprites will fly around for a little while, and then they'll eventually just kind of be like whatever, and they'll fly away or despawn, you know. But the spirit font is actually going to zap him. You'll notice it just shot him with something. It's kind of hard to see because the color, there we go. You'll see little particles come out, and they're going to keep that sprite around the font. He's just going to kind of fly around. And if you listen, they make a really cool sound. It's the spirit conduit. You can use that, and you can actually move them around and set up spirit fonts elsewhere and kind of have the sprites go over to that spirit font. So we can actually have them around our base, just kind of flying around. So I definitely want to do that. Let me go ahead and summon a few more of these. However long this incense lasts, I'm just going to keep summoning until the incense runs out. Okay. We've got 5 of them right now, which I think is a pretty good starting point. So we've got 5 little sprites flying around there, and it kind of adds some life to this area. So then what we can do is we can actually upgrade these. So now that we've got lesser sprites, let's see, using a lesser sprite you can push a ritual even closer to the otherworldly plane. This one we need 6 different flowers, 6 different incenses, and then you need a lesser sprite near the altar. And you can see right here, this little symbol here means that it requires a sprite. Okay, so we need an ender pearl, otherworld leaf, and glowstone, which we've got all of that. So we'll go ahead and put these in, and then we're going to need 6 different flowers. Let's see, because I'm just going to upgrade like a couple of them, and then we'll probably upgrade one to like a greater sprite. I'll have to run over to the bee area in a minute, get some flowers. So allium, poppy, dandelion, blue orchid, white tulip, pink tulip, and then we'll just go through, light these, and activate. And it checks a decent range, so our sprites over there are going to be plenty close for this. And I'm going to go ahead and upgrade. I think I'm going to do 3 of them, because then I'm going to do 1 greater sprite. There we go. You'll notice he's a bit bigger. And there we go. Oh, it doesn't change them over. I was thinking, it's been a while since I've done roots. I was thinking it changed one of the lesser sprites into the common, but anyways, there we go. We've got 3 common sprites, and then I just want like 1 greater sprite. So this requires 2 lesser sprites and 1 common sprite, and then we need blaze powder, otherworld leaf, ender pearl, and then we need 8 flowers, 8 unique flowers. Yeah, over in the bee area, there's like plenty of flowers. So we should be good. So I'm going to get just, I'm going to get a little bit of a variety here, because I am going to plant some of them around the altar. Okay. We've got plenty of flowers here. Let me grab like a couple more of these alliums. Okay. So let's head back over it. I'm going to put some of these down, like I said, just kind of around that little curve where the spirit font is, just so it's got a little bit more power to draw off of. And then we'll set up for our first greater sprite. You don't really have to get all of these necessarily. If you want to summon the boss, you do. It does require a greater sprite. Let's see, the Guardian of Sprites, this requires 4 lesser sprites, 2 of the common sprites, then 2 greater sprites. I'll actually probably go ahead and make 2 of those, so that we've got enough that we can summon the boss just whenever we want to. Because we've got 5 of the lessers, 3 of the commons, then we'll get 2 greaters. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. So ender pearl, blaze powder, otherworld leaf, and then we're going to need our 8 flowers. By the way, you can kind of see them sitting down in there, like down the bottom. And bear in mind, if we want to summon the boss, we're going to have to make 4 more braziers. So they'll kind of come up like that. And we'll activate it. And these things are all peaceful unless you attack them. So they're just kind of like nice little passive creatures to have, and then they'll drop otherworld leaves. It's not like, they don't just drop them like constantly. I don't think these have really dropped any yet. But when it's running passively, if you set up like a vacuum hopper, which we're going to do, we'll be able to get some passive otherworld leaves. Alright, so that's a greater. You see that big one with the tail sticking out? That's the greater right there. Okay, So now we've got our 2 greater sprites. And hopefully the spirit font will be strong enough. Oh, we just got another world leaf. The larger ones do tend to have a better chance of dropping them. So just bear that in mind. Alright, and I love the sound. I love the little sound of those guys. So the next thing that I want to do, let me go drop off these flowers because they're kind of jumbling up my inventory. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is I want to set up just a vacuum system to collect those because we're not always going to be around that area. Not a vacuum chest. I want a vacuum hopper, and these are much cheaper. So let's go ahead and get this knocked out. It's like vacuum hoppers and absorption hoppers, really, really cheap. Vacuum chests, a bit more expensive. And then just throw this stuff together, and there's our vacuum hopper. And this covers a decent range. I mean, it's possible that some of the other world leaves can get out of the range. I think the range on this is only like 3. Honestly, maybe going with an absorption hopper might be even better. Because it does a 7x7x7. Let's go with that instead. And I'll use this vacuum hopper somewhere, so I don't mind not using it right now. So, alright, absorption hopper, and then I want to set up a drawer. So I'm just going to get a frame drawer, and we'll use that. So, there we go. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's another world leaf waiting up here for us. There we go. It's going to be a lot more common now that we've got those graters flying around there. And then for the drawer, where do I want to put this? Because it's kind of like a strange place. I'll tell you what. I think for right now I'm just going to have it like setting here, and then later on we'll clean it up, or we'll put it somewhere else, you know. So we'll set the drawer down like, I want it to be kind of centered. So I'm going to put the drawer right there. Okay, it's not going to be pretty, but like I said, we'll move it later. But for right now, this will do the trick. And then we'll put our absorption hopper right there, and we're going to say that down is items. Okay? So then if I was to say throw these other world leaves down, they get sucked into that. Okay? So we'll just put those there, because we are going to need quite a few of these things moving forward, so getting this stuff kind of set up and sort of automated is right now is going to be helpful for us. So, plus we have pretty music in this area, which is great. Okay, so we've got 10 other world leaves now, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on that and see how much it grows as we go through this episode. But the next thing that I want to get is the runic altar. We are now at the point, because we could either do the pulsating mesh, which we're actually going to end up needing this now, because you have to have pulsating propolis to get into blood magic. But that's fine. We just have to go to the end and get some NBs. But we are going to do it with the runestone method. The runestone and the other world leaves, like the roots method. So let me get some runestone. Go ahead and get our runestone slabs. I'm going to turn 2 of those back into blocks, because we actually only need 2 of the slabs. And I'll tell you one thing I want to add. I mean, I've got my portable crafting thing, but I always like having the crafting stations, because you can leave items in them. And I don't have one in the Britannia area. I guess I'm making 2. That's fine. I've got some other places I wouldn't mind having a crafting station, so that'll be okay. Alright, let me actually grab one of these other world leaves. We've got, okay, we've still got 10 right now. So we've got 9. And we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. And we'll get our living rock and this crafting station. I'm just going to put this right here for right now. And we'll lay this out. There we go. There is our runic altar. And then we're going to set this guy up like right here is fine. This stuff's all going to get moved before, you know, over time. But, and then we'll set up our other mana spreader that we made when we first got into Britannia. And we'll just bind this and that. By the way, I did make mana tablet. When I moved the Britannia stuff over, this is just mana pearl and then 8 living rock. And it makes a mana tablet. And then you can pull the mana out and move it around. So I did make one of those. Okay, but that's bound to our runic altar, and that means we can start making runes, which is exciting. Now, one thing that I do, well, actually a couple things that I want to make really, really quick. Let me see if this stuff's changed at all. Okay, it doesn't appear to be. So what I want to do is I want to make a couple rings from Britannia. We've got the Ring of Magnetization right now. But I want to make the Band of Aura. I actually quite love this thing. It takes the Rune of Mana, which is Mana Steel, which means I'm going to need a little bit of... Let's see, I've got Star Metal up there. I've got like 27 of it. Or I can go with Steel. Yeah, I didn't make any steel between episodes. And I don't feel like going over there to the Arc Furnace. Star Metal's easy enough to make. And I know it was brought up in the comments by a couple people that Star Metal, we don't actually have to make that lens. I was so accustomed to, I always thought you had to make the lens, but you don't actually have to make a lens. So, just a heads up. And actually, I'm kind of curious about something. Mana Steel, is it less mana? Yeah, it's less mana if you use Star Metal, actually. So Star Metal is a better route anyways. So we got that, and then we're going to need a Mana Pearl. And then we can just throw this stuff on the altar. And there we go. It's going to start feeding mana over from that and pumping it into our runic altar, and we're going to get our Rune of Mana. And we are going to need some living rock. I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 pieces because we're going to craft 3 runes in total. Oh, and the Band of Aura takes Mana Steel as well. So I'll tell you what, this Star Metal that's down here, I can easily pop over there and make more of that. I'm just going to go ahead and grab that. We're going to use this for making Mana Steel. Okay, but we've got some particles, and drop a piece of living rock, and then shift right click it with the Wand of the Forest. We got our Rune of Mana. Okay, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll get our Band of Aura. And I love this ring personally, because what it does is it passively generates mana, and it feeds them. I'm going to get rid of this Pyromancer's ring. It feeds it into any mana storing items that you have in your inventory, so I'm going to keep the mana tablet on me. Actually generate a little bit. And it generates the mana whenever you move, is what it does. So, okay, and the next thing that I want to make is the Sojourner Sash. And this is like speed boost and all that good stuff. Speed boost, step up, and higher jump by like, I think, a block. So, Rune of Air is Mana Steel, Mana Powder. Actually, I don't have any... I do have Mana Powder up here. I don't have any Gunpowder, but it's okay. So let's get that, and then we're also going to need a Cobalt Nugget, String, Feather, and Carpet. Alright, and then that. And that's going to start running, and I'm just going to put those extra pieces of carpet into there. And then we're also going to need Rune of Earth, Mana Steel, Mana Powder, Ardite Nugget, Block of Coal, stone, and a mushroom. And we can actually use the Pam's Harvestcraft mushrooms, which is probably what I'll do since we do have those planted. Block of coal, piece of stone, Ardite nuggets, and then white mushrooms. Okay. And there we go. That one's done. And we get 2 of those per craft, which we'll need one of those for the terrestrial agglomeration plate. Mushroom, Ardite, and then we're also going to need 1 piece of Mana Steel and Mana Powder. Okay, that's going to run, and I'm going to drop this into there. And then in addition, we are going to need 4 pieces of leather and then 1 more Mana Steel for this. Okay, I've got 3 leather, but we can do the rotten flesh method over here. Which I've got this set up in like the worst possible place right now. This little, like, my little glass system, which I've still been using that, so. Rotten flesh. There we go. There's our leather. Okay, and then drop that, and, oops, I don't have my, there we go. And I'll throw one of those into there, and then we can get our Sojourner Sash. So what this does, we throw this on our belt slot, and if we have mana in our inventory, our mana tablet doesn't really have a whole lot of mana. Right now it hasn't had the time to build it up. So what we'll do is we'll right-click that and say that the mana pool is sending mana to the tablet, and we'll throw our mana tablet in there. It's going to drain a little bit of that mana, And now we've got mana in our inventory, so I definitely get a speed boost on these, but anyways, it's a little bit faster wearing that. Okay, and I was doing some thinking, and I think we will still go for the industrial apiaries first. It's just going to take a little bit. It's really not that far from where we're at. But we are going to have to work our way towards blood magic, and I want to go ahead and at least unlock Psi today. So to do this, we're going to need the Iron Cat Assembly. This is block of iron, double compressed stick, mana blaster, propolis, spellbinding cloth, and the runic altar that we now have. So let's go ahead, and we're going to need a mana spreader. And these actually, we can make these a little bit cheaper now, or a little bit differently, I guess. Glass lens, illumination powder, block of gold. So let's do that method, actually. I actually quite like that method. I think I have everything I need up in the astral sorcery area, I think. And fairly soon, I want to get into super crafting frame, and I want to do the teleporters. So we'll get into those before too long. But we have to get into a little bit of mechanism first. By the way, I've noticed, you'll see there's a couple other world leaves right there. I've noticed that they're dropping them away from this a lot of times. Like, this has 10 in it right now. So it's not getting all of them. Also, there's a chance I think they can drop them on top of the glass. They haven't really done it yet, but there is a chance. So it's not getting 100% of them. We may end up moving them somewhere that's not as low of a ceiling. I'm not sure. But, I mean, realistically, we don't need that many of them. But even still, where did I put the wildwood? And I guess I used up all the wildwood. I can't find it. So I'm assuming that I used it all for something, and I can't remember what I used it for, but I'm going to make some more real quick. Okay, there we go. I guess I'd used it all for something. I'm not 100% sure what I used it for, in truth, but apparently there was something that I used it for. Okay, so now we can craft, let's see, wildwood bark, block of gold, illumination powder, and a lens. That makes a mana spreader. And then redstone, we can change it over to a pulse. That's fine. Rune of mana, we are going to need one more of these. So let me get, okay, I'm going to get that going, and then we got to get some TNT and some little things like that together. Okay, I think I've got everything together. So there's our mana blaster. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and drop those mushrooms in there. We may need them later. And then our ender pearl, our 16 string. And then we're going to change that over to mana weave cloth. Then that and the mana pearl becomes spellbinding cloth. Double compressed stick from our tree farm. There's a block of iron. And then we need the mana blaster. A piece of propolis, and there we go. Just going to start making our Iron Cad assembly. Okay. And then I think that's pretty much everything that we need. Because we're trying to make Psi-dust, and you don't actually have to, well, we're going to have to make a Cad assembler, aren't we? I believe so. Am I out of redstone? Really? Ooh, okay, I've got to go mining between episodes because this is all the redstone that I've got left. But let's go ahead. There's our Iron Cad assembly, and I'm pretty sure we have to change this into a CAD. Yeah, we do. So I'm going to have to get a CAD assembler. It's not too bad. Pistons, machine frame, obsidian, and then an obsidian large plate. Okay, so let me get this stuff together. Okay, we've got most everything at this point. I'm just waiting on the hardened casing. There we go. And then we'll get our... I only grabbed 2 golden electron tubes, and I meant to grab 4. Which I've got them... I mean, I've got them crafted in here, but it's no biggie. There's our machine frame, and then there is our CAD assembler. Okay. And I'm just going to set this down right here. Right here. For right now. Until we get it moved. And then we'll drop in our CAD assembly and make our first CAD. Okay. There we go. And then all we have to do... I'm going to go ahead and make like 32 Psi-dust to start with. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't take anything. Drop that on the ground. Shift right click. And we leveled up Boot. Okay. So we got our first, where did it go? Did it go into here? Yes. Okay. So we got our first bit of sawdust and the quest. They're going to give us 8 redstone for getting 8 of that. Okay. And then, of course, mana glass, not a problem. Actually, you know what? Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and get that level up off the screen. It says it's found save data from a previous world. I'm going to go ahead and load it. And then I can just go through and I can learn all this stuff. Because I've done Psi before. If you want to know the bare bones basics, I'm not going to go over it all again. I don't have those. Actually, it was on the Direwolf series, I think, was the last time I went over it. And I don't think it went all the way to 24. I think it just went to 20 on there, or 21. That's fine. But if you want to know more Psi stuff, like in detail, I did cover it fairly thoroughly. Why did I drop that? I did cover it fairly thoroughly on my Direwolf series. Let me go ahead and get 5 pieces of glass. So we can go ahead and knock out that mana glass quest just to get it done. Because it just takes a second here. Mana glass in this pack takes greenhouse glass. Which is glass and camouflage paneling. Alright, that's fine. Because we've got that stuff already. So it's not a problem. I've actually got a bunch of it. So greenhouse glass, there's 8 pieces. And I'm just going to go convert all this over into mana glass. So. And there we go. There's 8 mana glass. And that completes that quest. And we get 5 more greenhouse glass. I'm going to go ahead and just change that over. Alright. So we got mana glass. Okay, so I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. So next episode, when we come back, we're going to pick up on this stuff here and working into blood magic. It won't take us long to get the blood magic stuff. So chances are next episode what we're going to do is we're going to knock out, well, okay, no, I'm sorry. Next episode is a world tour, server tour. So episode 25 is a server tour. So we'll be going around looking at everybody's bases. Next progression episode, though, we're going to tackle this blood magic stuff, get blood magic started, and then we're going to do a little bit of astral sorcery so that we can get the resonating gem to make our terrestrial agglomeration plate. And then, depending on next episode, or next progression episode, or the episode after that, we are going to get, we're going to upgrade mana production. And originally I was thinking about going with intrapiniums. We might still go with an intrapinium, just for that burst of mana that they provide. Or we may go with Gormialis, since we do have Pam's Harvest Craft, which is really powerful with Gormialis. Not for sure. Eventually we are going to automate mana, but since we can't really get into like AE2 or refined storage or anything, I mean technically we could get into it at this point, but or you know, with a little bit of a push into it. We'll be doing that soon, but we will be automating mana, not with Endo Flames, but with other stuff, stronger stuff, faster stuff. So that is the plan. And then we'll get our first bit of Terra Steel, and then we can get our upgrades and get our industrial apiaries. The corrupted essence, though, I don't think this stuff is terribly expensive. Diamond dust, crushed emeralds, pulverized obsidian, ash piles, and that psi dust. And then we've also got the vile dust that we're going to have to make. And this is just smelted soul sand. That's actually standard recipe right there. So yeah, I was going to say we might go ahead and knock out the sacrificial dagger, but it also takes corrupted essence and all that stuff. So we'll get into that stuff next episode and start with a little bit of blood magic. We don't have to get super far into blood magic to finish up what we need to get for the terrestrial agglomeration plate. But long term, I mean, we're going to have to go full all the way through blood magic because I want to get teleposers so then we can get void miners, which will be nice. But we need teleposers for what I want to do. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay up to date with when new videos come out. Oh, there is another world leaf up there. That's no good. We've got 14 in here right now. So it's collecting. It's not super fast, but it's going to be running on a server. So, you know, probably by next episode, we're going to have plenty of other world leaves. So it's just something kind of passive. I mean, it's not grabbing all of them, but that's fine. That's okay. It's not like we're like chugging through Otherworld leaves anyway, so. Anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys then. Okay, it's actually later that same day. I just want to bring you guys back for just a moment here, just to show you how many Otherworld leaves we have at the moment. We have 86. So it hasn't been running all that long. Maybe about 4 hours or something. But we do have 86 of them. So, and I've been working on rails. Running rails all throughout, like railing, not minecart rails, but running those all throughout this area, and then doing stairs. These aren't done, but working on those. So, just a heads up as to what I've been working on. So, you can see these go up, and you can kind of get an idea of what I'm working on here. So, anyways, I just want to bring you guys back for just a moment and update you on the Otherworld leaf situation. Show you that, I mean, it's producing a fair amount. Even though we weren't getting a ton of them throughout the process of the episode, after it runs for a little bit, we get a lot. And there's actually some on this glass here too. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time.